Hello crafty friends, welcome. This is Monica with I'll Make It Crafts, and today I am going to be sharing a super adorable new stamp that is designed by our lead ambassador Annie from Oddball Stamps. So yes, it is Creepy Cute Friday still, so we're still going in the Halloween theme, but this is not from Oddball Stamps. This is a new company. So Annie is starting her stamp line or her stamp company, and we're super excited to be helping her out on her new release this week. So we're going to be showing you this week, and she has had some really cool and awesome sneak peeks on her Instagram, so make sure that you guys go check her out. It is called Doodle, Daisies, and Ink, and I am going to be linking her below. I do apologize because I didn't have this information offhand as far as where you will be able to purchase these images, if it's going to be her own website or if it's going to be kind of like an Etsy store. I'm not sure exactly, but I do apologize for not having that information beforehand. But as always, I will leave links below so that way you guys can check her out. And like I said, make sure that you check her out on Instagram. She actually has a flash giveaway. I'm not sure exactly when it ends, but she had a giveaway of a new stamp. It's a beautiful fall wreath that she has going on, and you guys can go ahead and join it because it's, you know, part of her release that's going on. So you have the opportunity to win that awesome stamp. So definitely go and check her out. Now, like I said, I am just doing some coloring here of this super adorable coffee mug, and the reason why it looks a little bit like orangey, at the beginning I was thinking to do it kind of like in a rose gold, but I decided not to use so much of a pink color, so I stayed more on the peach shading, or the, you know, peach side of the colors, and that's what I decided to do. Maybe make it look like it was kind of one of those copper mugs. I'm not sure, but I really like how it turned out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. As usual, I super sped up this video because, you know, I'm just doing basic coloring. But I am adding a little bit of shading here and there, so that way, you know, I can try to add a little bit of dimension to the mug so you can see that is, you know, it's round. So I am adding a little bit here and there. Now you see me coloring the second one, and yes, the boo is, or the words are backwards. And that's because I flipped the image, because you guessed it, I wanted to make an interactive card. So I had to do it, and that's the only way that I could do it. The words, otherwise the words would still be scrambled. Actually, I could have done it differently, but I'll probably try to do that next time. So anyway, I am almost just finishing here doing the last details and making sure that I kind of match one with the other. And then now I'm just going to fussy cut around it. I am using my little Westcott scissors. These are super cool scissors to use. So when you're fussy cutting, I don't know what you guys use normally, but I do prefer to use a smaller set of scissors to kind of go into those itty bitty nooks and crannies and get all those details, because I do like cutting, you know, pretty precise. Now on this one, I did decide to leave a tiny bit border of around it, but I went back and I just kind of like, I didn't cut to the edge. I left just the itty bitty border. Now, because this stamp, it's basically coffee theme, I actually went back and I decided to add some of the coffee. I was going to leave it like, you know, if you don't know what's in there or if it's, you know, halfway there. But I decided to go ahead and fill it in with the coffee. So there it is, my little coffee. And I don't know, I'm not too much of a coffee drinker, though I do sometimes drink it. But that's what I decided to add, coffee. So here what I'm doing is I have my card base, but I also have a panel on top that I am going to be creating a window on, and I'm going to be using this circle die, but I'm trying to use some washi tape to kind of place it in place, and then I'm also going to be cutting the frame, but that's going to be only to the top section. So once I did that, I, you know, kind of stepped to the side to my die cutting machine and cut them out. And the reason I put the one panel on top of the other is because I want them to match exactly. So that's why I put them together, because if I don't die cut them together, chances are that I could mess it up and it's going to be off, and we can't have that. So what I'm doing here, I'm just doing some ink blending using some of my distress inks, and I'll use a combination of distress oxides and distress inks. So I'm using like a lighter violet color, and then I'm using here a darker one, which is wilted violet, and then I come back and use some blue. So what I'm trying to do is just create kind of like a sky scene or dark scene around it. So similar to when you start doing galaxy backgrounds, except I didn't do any of the stars or anything like that because I just wanted to be a dark background. So I'm using some of my black soot to go around the edges or certain areas just to add a little bit of the darker color. And then I decided to go ahead and color the or not color, but inked the center as well. Now I am doing it right on top of my panel, but don't worry about it because we're going to put that other one on top, so you are not really going to see it. So it's all good. And I do apologize if there's a little bit of shaking on my video. My husband was messing with me when I was trying to get this done, so I had to shoo him out of my craft room so I could finish this. But here I am doing the similar effect, just adding a little bit of each one of the colors, different sections, just to kind of create that dark sky-like scene. Now for this one, I did decide to add a little bit of stars, and I am using some of this Copic opaque white. It's kind of like I guess some people call it gouache, but it's kind of like a thick paint, and I just diluted it with a little bit of water, and I'm using a paintbrush right on top of my acrylic block to kind of sprinkle it onto my page. Again, like I said, don't worry about, the mess that I'm creating there on top of my card base because, I'm going to cover it with that other panel. So no worries. Now, because I kind of messed up a little bit here when I was doing the ink blending, I went a little bit all the way to the edge and I wanted to have a clean white border around it. So I decided to go ahead and grab the leftover piece from when I die cut my panel and put it around the corner. I think I've shown you guys this before that, it's a pretty cool trick to do to go back and reuse the leftover of your panels to either the inside of the car or to frame it if you kind of pop up the image. So what I'm doing here next is just adding a little bit of that clear string onto my little coffee mug, and I always use a little piece of scrap paper. This is just regular copy paper to hold it in place, and then I am just adding the rest of the glue so I can glue the other side of the mug. So there you can see that it's going to be flipping, and do the same thing. I didn't have my Tombow glue handy, but that's what I like to use because it is a little bit stronger to hold it. So I'm just trying to grab those strings, fuss a little bit, and try to straighten them as best as I can. You do want to make sure that when you're doing this, you center your image or your element that you're going to be doing. Center it as best as you can, because you don't want it touching the edges, so you want to make sure that it's going to be moving freely because you want it to spin around. So here I am going to be fussing a little bit with it, so bear with me, but we are going to get through it. So like I said, I hope that you guys are enjoying this video, and make sure that you guys go and check out Annie's shop. And I will leave links below, but also check her Instagram because like I said, she does have that giveaway going on that you guys might be able to still join in if you head over to her Instagram account, Doodle, Daisies, and Ink. And here I apologize again for the shakiness of the video. I don't know what happened on that one. I don't remember, but I apologize for that. So here I am, like I said, using that copy paper just to kind of, make sure that I centered it right. And you can see here at the top of this frame, I had actually cut it a little bit of the corner off. And so I decided to use a copy paper to kind of hold it back in place. So little tip, you don't have to waste the whole thing. You can fix it. So here I am just putting the frame around it, just making sure that I line it up directly with the circle, and that is why I had cut both the panel and the card base together, because I wanted them to be a perfect match. So now I am just adding the glue to this frame, and it's also cool because it has this stitch effect or dotted effect on both sides when you cut it, so then that way you can use both frames essentially. So super cool. So there you have it. Now the only thing with this one, my frame was just a tiny bit off, so I'm using my paper trimmer to trim it, just that way I can have it fine and easy. Now with these image, what you get is this sentiment that says coffee or I'll hex you. So I thought it was super adorable, and I am using just my scissors here to cut it. I'm not trying to, have it perfect or super straight. So I'm just, doing best I can, cutting it as close as I can, and then that way that I can use the sentiment and I could separate it. So I decided to go ahead and go back and do some ink distressing around the edges, and I am using my wilted violet and also the my black soot here to just kind of add a little bit of interest, I guess, and so that way it can pop up a little bit against that background. But I do like how that little starry background looks on the back. And I am going to be using some foam tape to kind of pop the sentiment out and, just kind of put it in place. I do like putting things at an edge, if at an angle, if you guys haven't noticed, but yeah, I think that it just kind of adds a little bit of interest. So that's what I decided to do. Also, the little mug, I decided to leave it a little bit at an angle, if you can tell. So yeah, that's why I decided to go with the sentiment going the same direction. So there we have it. I'm pretty much done here, but then I remember that I forgot to color my little ghost. Yes, ghosts are white, but what basically makes them look white is the background that you have going on, which I have that pretty, I guess, orangey, pinkish color on the background. But I wanted to add a little bit of shading to create, again, dimension onto this little ghost. So I use one of my light gray colors, and then I am using the one of the blender markers to color it, or to kind of blend it out or smooth the lines out, so you can see it adds a little bit of that dimension and kind of like where the waves or the sheets of the little ghost are. Then I also decided to go and color the word boo. I am using a darker gray, so I believe it's an ice gray 9, so that's what I am using here to color it. Again, my boo on this side is backwards, but I'll remember to fix it next time. And then I'm just going back in and filling in with a little bit of that orange marker to inside of the letters, adding lots a little bit of details. And I did decide to pull out my sparkle pen so that way I could add a little bit more of details to the little letters and stuff to make them pop up. So I am using a little bit of my Spectrum or sparkle pen as well to add to the little ghost, because I guess ghost should shimmer. I don't know. I just added it because he looked cute. And I'm using my glitter pen again for the sentiment, and then there you have it, pretty much done. I hope that you guys enjoy this project, and I am going to be leaving more still photos on my blog, so make sure that you guys check it out. Be sure to check out Annie's page on Instagram, and also be sure to check out her shop. I'm super excited to share this with you guys, and hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.